It's going to be probably Orianna in the duo lane. I mean, maybe Orianna mid lane as well. You know, Orianna can definitely bully out the Vladimir early on if they do want to go for that route, but they can also go Orianna down in the duo lane. So we have to wait and see where that ends up going. But overall composition kind of rounding out quite well here for the side of WLG. You know, a lot of AP damage with that Vladimir in the mid lane. We saw yesterday how well Vladimir can perform. Not only does the champion do a lot of damage, but he's also very slippery as well and very difficult to deal with, especially with his sanguine pool. Jungle is being banned away here on the side of Ladino with Evelyn and Kha'Zix, two carry junglers that I'm sure Andre said has you know, comfort in, but you know, we all know he has more up his sleeve.
Yeah, I think we've seen him play most jungle champions, especially most A tier onwards. Obviously Lee Sin's generally one that he goes for. We've seen him with the Vi, Xin Zhao as well. Last season we saw him play. So yeah, I mean, you can ban it as many of these big assassin champions in the jungle, but it is Andre Z, and he can pretty much play any of them. But the Alistar ban is interesting in the support, since we saw nobody pick up the Alistar support pick anyway yesterday. It was quite prevalent within the group stages, which I was quite shocked about, because it until then it seemed like an NA thing rather than an EU thing. But it's becoming more and more into the rotation, I feel, with the Alistar pick. And then we have Lucian as the final pick, final ban, sorry, on the side of WLG as well.
Renekton going to guarantee that this Vladimir is going to be going down in the mid lane. Renekton up in the Baron lane for Lonely Kid. And as you mentioned it just a bit earlier, Lee Sin probably going to be a pick up here for Andre Z, a champion that he's very fond of. Or Vi as well. That could also be another option. I think two champions is very comfortable with. Or Revan would be an interesting one. Okay, I think Heste just going... Yeah, I think Heste just going across other champions. I think he's bound to go on that Lee Sin. Yeah, really great so far. I mean, WLG's lineup is looking pretty well rounded. You know, you have a lot of crowd control, you have good early game, you also have good scaling as well with the Zeri and also the Vladimir, but you also have good early game at the same time. On the side of Ladino, they're going to be rounding out the composition with a Galio support, which is quite good for the disengage, especially if someone, you know, Vladimir jumps on top of someone. A magic shield can definitely help out. We saw a bit of that yesterday. A lot of scaling though on the side of Ladino. You know, both Orianna and Ezreal need at least 3 items to actually come online, whereas the side of you know, WLG, they can get power spikes a lot more earlier in the game.
Absolutely. The Galio support pick is generally a very good pick there, to be honest. I feel like that was probably the downfall of Government yesterday, because obviously Season 2, they had Yar4, and his pick was always that Galio. And obviously they got further last season with Yar4 and the Galio, so potentially that was their downfall yesterday. And I do love a Galio pick, to be honest. It does really upset the team comp, especially with the global ultimates. If you do it at the least expected moment, get a few knockups within these team fights, it can be huge. But like you say, it's good for the disengage, but also when you got Lee Sin trying to flank into the team fight, using the taunt to keep him there is generally a good utility of the Galio.
Yes, we're going to be jumping into Game Arena.
Number one,
Game Arena. I mean, it's not even bribing me. They just come in, they just see where everyone is on the map, and then they just say, hey, this guy's here. Let's go.
Trying to sync up my game.
Go on, ARP and sync up. We ain't got all day, lad.
I'm trying. Sorry,
I ain't got all day. Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing about Season 3 that I've kind of picked up is that, I mean, in my opinion, there's no real competition at all for WLG in this tournament. I mean, maybe that's going to be a caster curse and a half. That's probably the biggest caster curse I will ever say in my entire life. But with Kittens not playing in the tournament anymore, and with none of the players from Kittens really competing anymore, there's no real competition to go against WLG. You know, if we talk about like old age in terms of Wild Rift esports, you know, Lonely Kid on Parlor, one ESL, Andre Z and Veos both on Team Queso. You know, they even still have TQ at the start of their names, so they're still, you know, rocking the Team Queso banner, I guess you could say, in Wild Rift. Mumu, again, another player that played on Team Queso, and Heste as well that played for Game Lord. So a lot of players with a lot of experience in Wild Rifts.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, like you say, WLG are pretty much top dogs. They have been throughout the entire group stages and pretty much qualifiers. I think they may have lost one game in qualifiers, but that's kind of the stage you don't really care because you can bounce back whenever you need to. But yeah, group stages 11-0, complete repeat of what happened in Season 2. But like you say, the top players in the game currently within the scene also, and obviously they don't have the likes of Kittens trying to contest them, but even Kittens last season absolutely got stomped against WLG as well. So it's one of those. Ornn getting potentially picked out pretty earlier on, and it is the lonely kid. Not so lonely, he did have the support of Nautilus. He is now the kid. He is now the kid.
Andre got so aggressive there. He just walked in, he smited away with the Grump, and he just stole that away. No idea what he was thinking there, but hey, something that I spoke about at the start of the game. I was talking about Heste and about how he wants to roam a lot, how he wants to make plays around the map. What does he do? He ganks top lane at level 5, and he gets an early kill over to this Renekton. So great start here for Lonely Kid and for Heste with the Rones. But Andre said maybe playing a little bit too aggressive, smiting away the jungle camp, but still, I think they'll be happy with that start.
Absolutely, absolutely. A 1-1 trade. I mean, Ladno will be pretty happy with actually getting a kill this early on as well, but it was all in result of the aggressive Andre Z in the wrong jungle part of the map. But yeah, it's a weird one. Like you say, I would rather it not be a stomp. I'm living in the hopes that it won't be a stomp.
Copium. But as I said yesterday, like, even if it is a stomp, third place matchup tomorrow would be huge. If both of the teams that won yesterday lost today, I would still be very happy. I mean, they won't be happy with the third place matchup because obviously it'd be it would be really even, I think, against Baguette and Ladno. And I think either any of these that get into third place matchup going against any of the teams today, I think it's going to be either a completely uneven matchup or very, very 50-50, and obviously we'd love a 50-50 match opening up tonight, tomorrow night, which would be huge. Let's see how today goes first, because I think the second series of today is also going to be a pretty close one and a bit of a banger, as the invaders coming through. Aggression, no respect at all for WLG, and they might be punished for this as well, with the Aatrox getting the first kill. Galio jumping in as well, and maybe Veos might be caught out here as well. Bit of over aggression here from WLG, and Ladno will take a few kills here to come back. They're still going to be behind in gold. A few extra kills and a little bit of money in the bank will definitely help them out.
Damn. Literally, like, we saw that play-by-play. I was thinking, oh, this is going to be huge for WLG going in a little bit there, but then obviously the Aatrox comes through as well, and then obviously you just got all that damage coming through with the Ezreal and the Ori there, and then also Galio being able to just serve absolute taunt and the likes of, and then the ult obviously just going in, offering the shield back onto the Aatrox towards the latter part of that fight, and they then walk away with another 2-0 trade, which is something that you shouldn't be taking lightly on the side of WLG, even though they are a fantastic team. Got to be careful here. Ariana is a little bit too overextended. It is the Nautilus and the Blind Man pretty much there, looking to take a kill onto the lady with the floating ball.
Another hook flash there for Heste, making the roams possible, making the plays possible up in the Baron lane. Renekton right now, 1,400 gold lead in 5 minutes into this game. They are really putting the pressure at the moment on the Baron lane of Ladno and really getting this Renekton ahead. They're also struggling a little bit here, but they are probably going to get a first tower of the game here in this Baron lane. Might get traded though for this bot lane tower. I wonder who's going to get first tower. It's definitely going to be the first tower of the game here, going over to WLG. A trade tower might come in, but they're all pushing in that mid lane as well.
Yes, yep. So they drop Shelly in the mid lane. They get the Baron lane turret without contest as well. You did see Ezreal with a little effort with that all out of nowhere, trying to clear the minions under that turret, but it just completely whiffed and maybe touched a minion's cheek. It was quite an intimate situation, but nothing really came from it. And WLG got that first tier turret in the Baron lane, and however, they did finally get the first tier turret down in the dual lane for Ladno. So it's there's a lot of trading going on here, which if you're in the playoffs and you're trading with WLG, I would be taking that as a minor victory anyway. So well played to Ladno so far for keeping up with the pace. Obviously, they're down in pace with gold. They do have first dragon. They did lose Shelly, however.
You do have to be a little bit careful here. The aggression's going to come in again, but again, the counter engage is going to come in, and WLG lose another member here. Andre said it's probably going to be able to jump over the wall here as Veos looks to come on through and clean up, and it turns it around, and Aatrox is going to be the one taken down instead. And Andre said is just going to be able to jump over the wall freely here with Lee Sin, maybe looking to make some more plays. You can see he's hovering around this bot side, maybe trying to make another play. But for now, it looks like it's just going to be a 1-for-1 trade.
I'll be taking that, especially if it's the jungler as well, because I mean, it then stops the jungle's gold farm as well. I mean, even though Lee Sin's been pretty idle whilst the Aatrox has been down in terms of lingering around there, they do manage to secure another kill from Ladno there. So Galio does go down, however, and they get a few turret platings in the bot lane. So a little minor victory there for WLG, and it looks like they're going to get this mid lane turret. Okay, no, they keep it bathed there. Aatrox is in. Zeri looking pretty low, but still doing a lot of damage from the back line while she's got Hestes there to support, and that poke was just not enough damage to take down the Ezreal.
Oh, okay. Trying to get the mid lane tower, weren't able to get it, nearly died for it, but they were able to stay alive. I think mid lane tower is probably 1 or 2 auto attacks away here. But Mumu is pretty low on health, but he'll be able to go back to base. Already has that Bloodthirster completed. I wonder what he's going to go for. He's going to go for the Trinity Force build. Interesting. Obviously, with Hurricane being nerfed, Hurricane was normally the second item option for the Zeri, but now with Trinity Force being buffed, Zeri now comes back into fray here with Trinity Force being a really, really strong item.
Definitely.
Oh, Chaos caught again.
Oh, getting the kill. Still hanging on to that dual lane turret, however. They love that turret. They've clearly got an affinity towards that turret, but it is 3v1 in the mid lane as well. We tried the Galio going to get the taunt, but it's just a little bit missing. Touch and go with a Zeri taunt there. It didn't quite connect. There's the Zeri poke, which is just huge on that champion. The Nautilus knock up onto the Aatrox. Andreas Zed comes in and cleans up the kill. Double kill for Andreas Zed after a few whiffs in the early game. Down goes the mid lane turret as well. This is WLG. They have started to put the pressure onto Ladno and taken 2 kills and the mid lane turret as well, and gave them a nice 4k gold lead.
Really, really nice here for WLG. It seems to be most teams just overextending at the moment, trying to get objectives and trying to chase down kills. And it's been the other team that's been trying to capitalize on the mistakes. And look at this. The objective bounties are already in play here for Ladno. They are already 5,000 gold behind. They're going to lose the mid lane tower, which is going to give a little bit more gold over to Ladno thanks to the objective bounties, and they might even be able to rotate up to get the Baron lane tower. But WLG are here and they want to fight.
They do want to fight. They want to brawl, and it looks like that Ezreal has already gone down. So down goes one of the damage dealers thanks to Lonely Kid. He's currently sitting at 202 on the Renekton as well. Up pretty much 2k gold in that Baron lane just alone. Ornn ult comes through. Can he get a double knockup? He does get a double knockup, but doesn't stop Lee Sin going in, taking out the Orianna. They take out the Ornn. The Galio ult is just a little bit too late, saving the Freljord God Warrior. Unfortunately, we see the Zeri getting the kill onto Galio as well. Unfortunate for Ladno, but very fortunate for WLG, and they could potentially look to take this second tier turret in the Baron lane, which would be pretty huge. Just past 10-minute mark. Aatrox under the turret gets absolutely annihilated on a 3v1 because Ezreal's just a little bit too late there.
Very, very clean for WLG. Very good fight overall, allowing them to get, as you said, a lot of extra towers. They're going to take this Baron lane tower. They got the mid lane tier 2 as well. And this is what we was expecting from this game. It's a bit of a shaky start for WLG. You know, a few invades in the enemy jungle, in Ladno's jungle, but actually been able to kind of, I guess, you know, get a little bit of comfort into this game and make sure that they get the advantages that they want. Now they have nearly a 10,000 gold lead. You can see that the jungle gold lead is about 3,000. The Baron lane gold lead is 2,000. And that's where the big advantages are on the map right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they are pretty much just flying ahead with that gold difference, as you say. The Infernal Dragon is up. However, Ladno did get the first dragon, so if we can see WLG manage to deny the second Drake here, there is no hope in them getting their Dragon Soul. And if I remember correctly, they did that very well yesterday. They did it for 3 matches in a row, getting the Dragon Soul, but it looks like they're going to get denied in the first game of the series this time around, unfortunately for Ladno. However, they take a second tier turret down in the Baron lane for them, so they are trading blows, but I don't think it's enough right now. I'm pretty sure there's not much that Ladno can really do going into a 7k gold difference, unless this team fight is huge. Oh, okay, Aatrox with a double kill. We see that the Lee Sin was behind enemy lines there, unfortunately, for WLG, and then we see Nautilus pretty low. They have the minion wave up in the Baron lane. They look like into going for the Baron Nashor. Is this going to be a little bit of an upset here for WLG? Because of that team fight, we now see that Ladno are up pretty much only behind 3k gold, which is a huge, huge comeback from 7k gold.
Baron Nashor is going to be taken. That's also the objective bounty as well. Second objective bounty being taken for Ladno. Again, bit of maybe overconfidence here for WLG. They thought that they could maybe try and, you know, get a few more kills, maybe try and end the game there and then. But the best thing that would have been, you know, to do there is just take the mid inhibitor and run for the hills. But that's not something that WLG want to do. But I mean, even with the Baron buff on the side of Ladno, I still think WLG are going to be comfortable with this mid lane inhibitor going down. They just have to make sure they kind of wait it out. Make sure they wait out the Baron buff. But now these items are starting to, you know, get online for Ladno. You know, 3 items for Orianna. Ezreal is working towards his 3rd item. So once these 3 items get online, maybe, just maybe, Ladno will be able to come back into this. We'll have to see.
Absolutely. I was just halfway through trying to enjoy this fight here for a potential comeback here for Ladno. I mean, they didn't really do much in terms of that Baron lane, which they could really utilize, but by the time they managed to get the Baron Nashor, WLG were back up into the mix, and they have to play this next whole team interaction very carefully, because if they don't, they could potentially lose the first round of the best of 5, which isn't the be-all, end-all. We've seen some people predict a 3-1 for Ladno, so if this is the first game they take, I mean, it's pretty huge for mental.
The kick!
But, however, here comes a Renekton. Lonely Kid going in. He has done damage already. The Ezreal is down. Galio and the Aatrox were all pretty low there. Ornn is trying to escape, but Zeri is giving them a hell of a chase. Zeri getting a double kill there, so nicely played. This is why Zeri was one of the best played at ADCs within the group stages, and Veos is picking off the Ori there as well. WLG gave them an inch, but they've taken a mile.
They might be able to end the game here as well. And they got a wave up in the back. They don't have that wave in the mid lane, though. They do have a wave in this Baron lane. They got about 5 seconds on Ezreal. I think they're just going to take this tower and back off. Ezreal is back alive. You do also have the Aatrox back alive in 5 seconds. So yeah, they're not going to be able to end the game just yet. But 2 inhibitors down now for WLG. That's going to allow them to create pressure. Probably take this 3rd dragon here with the Ice Dragon down the bot side. As you can see, most of the members are walking towards this bot side right now, placing a few wards down and getting that vision before the dragon comes up.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, I don't want to say it, but I'm not going to say it again, so I'm not even considering it. The thought is now gone. I have eliminated it. I have done what they do in Men in Black and completely just obliterated that thought. But to be fair, they're only behind in 1k gold. Yes, they've lost the top and mid inhibitor, but it is back in 32 seconds. I feel like whatever play it goes on next in this jungle is going to be huge, especially if we see WLG get the Baron. If Ladno steal the Baron, that could be huge for them, because all they need to do is then make a team fight work in their favor. But however, looking at these builds right now, you've got the anti-heal on the Lee Sin, on Vlad, on Zeri, on pretty much every one of the champions bar the Nautilus. So Aatrox going into these fights is just going to get peeled off pretty easily. Speaking of which, The Galio is... Oh, sorry, no. Nautilus goes down. At first, I thought it was going to be one of Ladno's teammates go down, but Ezreal looks pretty low. He has to get out of there. Oh, look at him going in with that flank into the back. Zeri already pretty much full HP. Another double kill here for Zeri. Can she pip off a quad? No, not quite. Not quite. She's trying. She's trying. Oh, status. The Nexus is pretty much very low, and WLG in very WLG style. A little bit sloppy towards the end, but slipping Jimmy is taking the victory for WLG there at the Nexus.
GG's well played for WLG. Very pretty convincing game. Number one. There was some few shaky moments, especially in the early game with the bit of over-aggression with the jungle invading, but in typical WLG fashion, the players are just a whole nother level to everyone else in this competition. And this game with no Vladimir and no Nautilus in here, Galio is going to be the pickup instead for Heste. Again, another playmaking support that he can look to roam around with and try and make plays around the map. So we'll have to see what the bans are going to come through here.
Absolutely. On the side of Ladna, we've still got up in for grabs is the support and the Baron lane pick here. So it's going to be interesting to see what they go for. They're going to go for the Ornn again, because obviously it's still open. The bans pretty much in this second phase have pretty much stayed the same. We've got the Evelyn ban come through. Next, maybe up Kha'Zix, maybe Lee Sin after that last game. And then obviously Alistar on the side of WLG. And is the last ban going to be a... Okay, no, the ban the Ornn. I think that is probably a wise ban. I mean, the Lucian, however, I don't think needed to come through on that one in the first game of bans. But the Ornn, I mean, with the double knockups and the triple knockups in the last game, it's definitely something that upsets the motion of the ocean on the side of WLG. And then we see the Lee Sin get banned. But like we commented in the first game, Andreas said it has a big pool of champions. The Kha'Zix is still open. Let's see what goes on.
He knows that the jungle has already been picked here, basically on the side of Ladno. Just going through a couple of junglers now. Xin Zhao, Shen would be a pretty good pickup. Would be the Xin Zhao, but no, Shen is really, really good as well. And the great thing about Shen as well is, again, it's kind of the same thing as what I mentioned yesterday about Shen, is that he can basically just farm up in the jungle. He doesn't really need to do too much in terms of ganking because he has this ultimate. So hey, if this Aatrox wants to be proactive and wants to try and gank, Shen could just press ulti and just basically negates everything that the Aatrox wants to do. But on the other side, looks like Gragas support is going to come in here for Flopsy down in the bot lane, which leaves the Baron lane pickup. Unless they want to try and flex this Aatrox to the Baron lane, not the best matchup into a Jax. We'll have to see if there's any other champions that he wants to prioritize here.
Definitely the Gragas pick for Baguette yesterday, especially Monaco. Monaco loved that pick. It did very well for them yesterday, so the Gragas support does come through for Ladno. And with the likes of his barrel, if he's able to split apart these team fights, because I mean, you've got a huge engage already. You've got the Galio, you've got the Shen there. Obviously, Jax is going to mainly be used as a split pushing force. We'll rarely see them within the team fights unless there's a gank up in the Baron lane. And then we get the Kassadin come through for the mid laner of WLG. We saw the Kassadin yesterday, I think it was on Dawn. It didn't quite go too well for them, but let's see how Veos plays the Kassadin this time around, especially going into the Orianna. And Garen going in the Baron lane. It's
a great setup as well for the Shen. Kassadin can just look to ulti in and Shen can follow up as well. You don't really have that same danger as what you did yesterday with obviously Don playing on the Kassadin. You have, great follow-up potential. Shen can follow up the Kassadin. Galio can also follow up the Kassadin as well with the ultimates. There's multiple ways in which they can put, defensive, I guess, capabilities, I guess you can say, on this Kassadin with the magic shield and also the Shen shield. So it's a lot better matchup this time for the Kassadin.
Absolutely. I mean, imagine just the scenario. You go into a team fight. You're very confident going into a team fight on the side of Ladno. You see Shen's ult come through. You then see Galio's ult come through as well, which just then adds on. If it's even on the same target, it doesn't even matter, because you've not only then got to contend with a shield of Shen, you've then got the knock-up of Galio to be like, right, okay, how can we position that on the 9th of December?
I love it. Absolutely love it. Right, here we go. Game number 2, WLG winning the first game like I said, pretty convincingly. A few hiccups here and there, but overall, very solid performance from WLG, especially Andre in the jungle, playing a very different style of jungler now. Obviously, not going to be as proactive on that Shen as he was on the Lee Sin, but he's still going to be able to follow up on the ganks and still try and make the flashy plays later on down the line.
Now just synced up Glad Boy styly. There we go. We are synced up. Got the caskets rolling out pretty early in the doors there from the Graguso. But no, both of the supports staying in the bot lane. We haven't really seen it where the supports have really started in the Baron lane, but like you pointed out, Estes doesn't really need to start in the Baron lane. He'll probably make his way up there in like a minute's time, because that's just how Estes plays supports, and it really paid off last match, catching out Ladno in their own jungle, but then obviously he did get caught out quite a few times. But like I said, it didn't really upset WLG's chances of winning in the last game. It just offered great utility to his team.
It's just comfort as well at the same time. You know, I think with the meta and how Wild Rift has kind of evolved over the last few years with this support kind of meta, very popular obviously over in China, where they just like use their supports as basically a second jungler. They don't really do it that much anymore, especially since AD carries are back in the meta. They want to try and support the AD carries, and the reason why supports were roaming so much is that you basically had mid lane mages down in the bot lane, so they didn't actually need the assistance of the supports. And now with ADCs coming back into the meta, you see that bot laners a little bit more Heste. He kind of flashed the wrong way. Not too sure what his plan was there, but he flashed the complete wrong way, and yeah, die for it, Patterson.
Oh, strike.
Oi! It's gonna die. Mumu is gonna die on the opposite side. So Anti, the one to start things off here and to get a really nice play. Unfortunate that Shen actually wasn't level 5, but as soon as Andre hits level 5, he goes down to the bot lane, uses the ultimate as I mentioned, and gets himself a return kill. So really good timing here from Anti, ganking when Andre is level 4, so he can't actually respond with that Stand United. But as soon as that Stand United comes back online, he ulties in, gets a return kill. Maybe looking for more here. No, it's just going to be 1 kill. So 2 for 2 trade overall on the map, but a great start here for Patterson, getting that first blood in that Baron lane.
Absolutely. I mean, that was such an outplay with the counter-strike. I honestly thought it was very clutch for the Baron lane of Ladno. I was thinking, oh my god.
Oh, ignite, lost tick. He's gone.
I just went up to the Baron lane by accident. I don't know why, but even though I've synced my game up, I literally go elsewhere, and then obviously something else happens. I'm clearly not focusing. Right, okay, so we see that Veos is very low, gets out of there just ever so slightly, but Ezreal gets picked off from the Zeri.
Oh, okay, top lane.
Trade across the map there as well. So trade not only in the Baron lane, but double kill for Mumu there in the bot lane, and then Aatrox comes through to put a stop to that. So a very brawler match this time again. So last match was very much getting caught in the enemy jungle, but this time it's all happening in those lanes.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. It's a bit of a fiesta, to be honest. There's just trades all across the map. I think Patterson will take that in the Baron lane, 500 gold lead at the moment, and the same in the bot lane as well. You know, 900 gold lead. You know, even though the trades are coming in here for Ladno and they are getting kills, you can see just overall just the difference in terms of farm and the difference in terms of gold that they're able to pick up. That's why they have that 1,600 gold lead. Veos is maybe going to survive here on 1 HP. No. Kill there for Han. It's going to be another kill, and that's going to slowly bring the gold back. But again, 1,000 gold lead for WLG so far.
Just chuck it into my burger. Let's go, let's go. Definitely a huge gold lead for WLG currently, and the jungle objectives are up in 38 seconds. It's going to be interesting to see if we see WLG go for the Shelly again, or will we see a bit more of a contest for the Shelly on the side of Ladno, or they're going to go for the same thing they tried yesterday? Failed already once today. Not quite the success rate as they did yesterday with the Dragon Soul. But I think maybe potentially we're seeing WLG have a huge presence down here on the bot side of the map.
5 seconds until these objectives come up. Andre doesn't even need to be anywhere. Oh, choosing the hat. Oh, that is unavailable during broadcast. We're not wearing hats. No hats. And you have a hat, to be fair. Yeah, I guess you have a hat. Oh my god, the Garen Gaming. Look at that. That is what you call Garen Gaming, ladies and gentlemen. You just run in, use all your abilities, and you just get completely one shot. Like Andre is also going to be caught out here as well, as Heste looks to try and flash away, and Heste is going to die as well. The Shen ultimate isn't going to let Heste survive, and that's probably going to be the Rift Herald going over here to Ladino, and they're probably going to also look towards the Dragon as well. And WLG again making a few mistakes here.
Definitely. I mean, we saw the Shen ult try to come through, but just the damage currently on Ladino's side is just a little bit too much to keep the champion alive that the Shen ult is focusing on. A great pickup for Ladino, though. They managed to get Shelly, so already different approach to the first game. We see an aggressive approach for Shelly. We saw a few pickups there against WLG. Maybe another one here. Garen spin to win between the Shen and the Galio. Okay, Garen doesn't go down, but Ezreal does. However, they do get the Dragon. The Infernal Dragon is set up already, but then Zeri comes around with a double kill as well. So a 3-1 trade with the Dragon Soul. I'm not too sure. I mean, if they can manage to get the continuation of securing these dragons, then that would be a huge victory for them. But this Zeri is an issue. This Zeri is a huge issue. The potential that Zeri has just to get double kills out of nowhere is massive. I mean, if I can get Penta on Zeri, it's broke.
I can get a pentakill on Zeri. Anyone can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The standards are low for myself. Thanks, you.
Oh my god, Andre escapes. He escapes. They didn't use any abilities in that river. Or in that bush, sorry. And they were able to escape here. They're going to trade the towers. But the big thing here for WLG is that they were able to take that first tower of the game in the bot lane. Even with Ladino taking that Rift Herald. So big win there for WLG. And Andre escaping there as well is really huge.
Huge. But the one thing is about WLG, like, no matter how much they lose in, like, the jungle objectives and stuff like that, yes, they're pretty much even with the kills. They always seem to be, like, ever so slightly ahead with the gold. Like, their gold acquisition is just something else. You'd think any other team would be like, I'm struggling for gold here. But WLG is like, take your objectives. We're still ahead by a few hundred. It's all good. It's all Gucci. Don't worry about it.
They're currently even in gold at the moment. I mean, even on kills, even on golds. Definitely a lot better game so far for Ladino, and you can see the gold difference at the moment. The big gold difference is that Zeri down in the duo lane, 2,000 gold ahead, but the rest of the map is actually in favor of Ladino, so it's kind of Mumu against the world at the moment. So we'll have to see if Mumu is going to be able to do enough to carry. But yeah, like I said, even gold at the moment, both with 30,000 gold. It's going to be interesting how this game wraps up.
I think it's going to wrap up just as much as my Mackie D's wrapped up there, which is delicious. So, not too sure what's going on here. A lot of ribbon action. Galio there. Zeri here. But then also Jax looking for a flanku. He's chasing just in case, but they've then reverted back to the lane. However, the Zeri and the Galio chase has been pursued, and they've been grouped up with the Kassadin and the Shen as well. So no team fight happening just as of yet, but we are seeing Patterson coming into the fold as well. I think this is pretty much like a vital part, because obviously we're going into the 10-minute mark. We haven't quite yet seen a second tier turret takedown yet past the 10 minutes. Obviously, last one was 10 minutes and like 23 seconds, I think it was, if I was being very precise. But it's a little bit slower on the side of the WLG. They haven't been able to sort of capitalize ahead of Ladino this game. The Kassadin is looking pretty much in trouble there, but thanks to the Shen ult coming through, but it's a 4v1. We see the Garen take down the Kassadin, so Kassadin goes bye-bye. However, the Zeri is just waiting there to try and aid the escape of Andrea Z on the Shen. But as I was back to saying, there doesn't seem to be a big push on the side of WLG this time around. Obviously, I think it's with the likes of the Caster, obviously a late scaling champion. We'll probably see him pop up if they manage to get to the late game. Caster comes through for Gragas. Oh, Aatrox taking out the Zeri. And that is what they need to do in the rest of these team fights, is just making sure Mumu goes bye-bye, because that Zeri is just lethal in these team fights when she's given the position and given the leeway to do so.
Good pick there for Ladno, and that gives them the gold advantage now. So I think the big thing about WLG's comp though this time is that they don't have maybe the same early game pressure as what they did last time. They don't really have that Lee Sin. They don't really have the same, you know, we have to wait for, again, kind of Patterson to get a few items, Veos to get a few items, as well as Mumu. So both these comps are definitely a lot to do with the late game scaling. If Ladno are able to get the second dragon, this could be pretty huge, because that means they'll be at soul point. And Patterson is up in the barrel lane as well, so we have an advantage here for Ladno.
We do, but it's riding on the back if they get the dragon, because if Patterson's left alone in that barrel lane, but it is looking like it's going to be a Ladno victory within this dragon fight here. Shen's still in there. Can we get a typical Andreas smite contest? But no. They do get the dragon. However, Patterson has been left like leaving baby in the corner. He is going hard on the Baron lane, managed to get that second tier turret for WLG, which puts that pressure on them in the Baron lane. But like you were saying, Ladno has now been able to actually secure 2 out of 3 of the dragon objectives.
Patterson going to get caught out here as well. This whole game has just been WLG, WLG being caught out in the Baron lane and also in the bot lane as well multiple times, and they feel confident enough to go for this Baron here. Oh, Andre completely caught out here, and also Zeri as well completely caught out. So
wow,
this is probably going to be Baron here for Ladno, and a huge advantage for them.
Yeah, guaranteed Baron for Ladno here.
Very, very interesting indeed. So maybe we might have Ladno coming back into this game, maybe making it a 1-1. Say now they have the Baron, but they're still only, you know, 2,000 gold ahead, 3,000 gold ahead, which is actually not a lot, to be honest, considering that they were able to get so many kills. Like, they're basically double on kills at the moment, and
yep,
they still can't even, you know, they still can't get a big enough gold lead right now, which is kind of crazy.
It is weird how WLG can just maintain like a significant, like not massive, like a massive decrease in gold that they're like struggling to get back, but they just manage to sort of just keep it sort of like level. The tempo of the gold acquisition on the side of WLG is just something else. I've already said it once and I'll keep saying it, because they just manage to do it a lot better than any other team. They don't forget to keep farming. It's kind of just part of their bread and butter when they go into these team fights. Even if they lose turrets, if they lose objectives, they're just doing whatever they can to just keep up the gold farm. But we're seeing the Shen get taken down potentially here. Patterson going down. However, Jax goes down there, sorry. Galio going in with the Galio. Galio's going to go down as well. We're looking to see a second tier turret takedown. So that's going to be the mid. That is the duo lane turret takedown as well. Shen, Zeri is looking pretty low, but still within base and safety. I don't think there's going to be any pickups here for WLG in that team fight, but a huge pickup there, 2-0 for Ladno, with the Baron Nashor only with 5 seconds left. So fair play to WLG. They managed to maintain no loss of the inhibitors this time around with the Baron Nashor buff, but however they did lose a second tier turret. So minor victories, minor losses, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, for now, for WLG, they're just waiting for some of the items to come online. You know, we really need this whole breaker finished on this Jax to be able to split push and to be able to get pressure in the side lane, because Garen also has hull breaker himself. We're waiting for that mortal reminder to be completed for Mumu, and also the death cap on Veos. If they can stall for a long enough amount of time to get these few items, then I can see, you know, WLG maybe coming back into this game, but they might be caught again here up in this Baron lane. You can see again they're just playing so over aggressive in these side lanes, and again it might come back to haunt them.
Yep, Shen coming around into the back of it as well. Zeri is there also. Just proc to ult. Galio going in onto the Zeri just to give her a little bit more sustainability. Shen looking pretty low. Passing goes in, takes out the Ezreal. So down goes one damage dealer of Ladno. And then we see the Zeri jump over the wall. She is not done yet. We see the Garen go in onto Zeri though. So a little bit overextended. Double kill there for Jax. Garen has been left to a 3v1. Aatrox and Gragas are just not going to be quick enough to get around to try and assist their teammate. But I would not take my chances with a Galio and a Jax up with that much health and then Shen in the mid lane. I would just try and stop this minion push in the mid lane here if I was Ladno.
Oh, Ladno, the timing is so bad for them as well. They didn't need to make that play. They didn't need to go for that play. All they had to do was just play around this dragon, try and get the dragon's soul, and then that's their win condition right there. But they played way too over aggressive. They got baited way too hard up in this Baron lane. And Andre was able to use his ultimate to get there in time. Veos with the mobility over the wall. The Galio ulti as well. Patterson was able to survive for so long. But this is a dragon going over to Andre. And Patterson is in a 2 versus 1 scenario here up in the Baron lane. It's surviving for quite a long time with the barrier, but eventually does go down in the end.
Yeah, like you were saying, it's a little bit of short-sightedness on the side of Ladno, I feel, because obviously, like you say, play for the dragon, get the dragon soul, and then if you have to, finish it off with the Elder Dragon buff, because I think the team fight would become a hell of a lot easier for Ladno if they just got that. It looks like they're going to go for the Baron Nashor, or at least try and bait this Baron Nashor here, but we've got Shen, Zeri, Kassadin's here as well. All of WLG looking pretty hot with health. They are down a member, though, but I don't think that would stop Andrea said managing to secure a smite steal on that Baron Nashor though, so I think healing off there, not using the Baron Nashor or taking the debuffs from the Baron Nashor as they go into a team fight with WLG is probably a good call for Ladno right now.
I mean, this is a comeback really that WLG needed. So now they have 3 items on all their carries. Hullbreaker finished, Deathcap finished, Mortal Reminder finished. This is absolutely huge for WLG, and their comp is pretty much online now, so the comeback can definitely be on here for the side of WLG if they can look to try and finish this game off.
Absolutely. The Elder Dragon is up in 20 seconds. I think it's going to be a pretty much do or die for this Elder Dragon, it seems. And Ladno definitely need that, I think. Now that, like you say, they've got their items on the side of WLG, they've got those big damage items, those key items in their core builds. It's just, the Elder Dragon is needed for Ladno just because of player difference.
Even with the Elder Dragon, I think it becomes difficult.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to wait and see about that one.
Yeah. But Han's doing a lot better on this Ori this time around. Obviously, gold difference in lane is still pretty huge. Especially within Cassidy, the mid lane with Cassidy in there. Gone for the anti-shield because of, obviously, the likes of the Shen and the Galio as well. I feel like it's going to be a... I don't know what's going to happen here. It looks like WLG is going to take it.
Oh, they go for the Faille. Yeah, they go for the Aatrox. They kill the Aatrox, and that's the perfect kill that they were looking for. Patterson is just going to stay here, use that counter strike, dodge all the auto attacks here for Garen, and easily take this tower. He might die for it, though, with the Garen ultimate. He does die for it, and Garen needs to get to this fight as soon as possible, because you can see on the other side of the map here that WLG are falling lower and lower, but so are Ladno as well. But Garen is here to play. Ezreal uses the flash to get away for now to safety, and Garen has to be the frontline tank. But look at the poke from the Zeri. The shield has to come in because the red buff actually nearly took down Orianna, and the health advantage is over to WLG here. But Ladno, they're trying to steal away this Elder Dragon. Everyone is so low. Orianna takes one. True Shot Barrage comes in as well, and the members are falling lower and lower here for the side of WLG. But Andre said it's still auto attacking this Elder, and it's stolen away by the Orianna, and that might be the game here for Ladno. The steal away from Orianna, the mid laner for Ladno. Han is able to steal that away, and that might be the game.
That was absolutely massive for Ladno there. So I feel like the thing that went wrong for WLG was the fact that the Elder Dragon actually reset like 3 times. gave him huge time to get back. Patterson is definitely going in onto the Ori, though. I mean, he's not done. He wants his team to take a double kill. He's been stopped, though. The ramming force of the Baron laner Patterson has been stopped. And I think it's probably time for Ladno to actually recall, defend their base, and just recuperate. But a huge steal for Ladno, though. So well played to Hans there. No jungle needed. Aatrox is there, but Hans was like, yo, hold my drink. I've got this.
And they weren't able to finish the game. That was their opportunity to finish the game. But Patterson is actually the one that saves the game here for WLG. And now the Baron could be going in the hands of WLG. Could we see another steal? The Orianna is not alive, but the Aatrox is. But this is a 4 versus 3. They don't want the Baron. They want the fight. WLG want to end this game right here, right now. Heste is going to try his best. Garen has taken down. That's a 1 for 0 so far for WLG. They're just going to back away for now. They take the 1 for 0, and they're going to look to go back because the members are falling lower and lower on health. Andre said is just going to stay around for now, just to make sure that WLG don't take make sure that Ladno don't take away this Baron, as the members of WLG are looking to reset. Veos is going to go back to base, but for now it is a win for WLG with the Baron laner down and dead and buried at the moment, and they're looking to try and sneak away this Baron. Andre takes a lot of damage, but they catch up the Orianna. The taunt comes in. The status on 1 HP. Hold on. The Aatrox might be able to clean up this entire fight. Jumping in onto the back line. The shields are not going to be enough in the end. And Ladno are going to turn this game again around. What a crazy back and forth game. And now is Patterson against the world. He was able to survive last time and save the game, but this time around I don't think he's going to be able to survive in this 1 versus 5.
No, the only thing he could really hope is trying to take out that minion wave, but we have Ladno at the door, and they see the Nexus. They are hungry. They want a victory from WLG, and I think that within itself, even if they don't win the series, taking a round from WLG in the playoffs, that's something, man. That is something. So well played to Ladno in that second game. I will not doubt the Aatrox pick again.
Holy moly. That was
10-3-11.
That was pretty crazy.
10-3-11.
Yeah, this Aatrox pick has been very, very difficult for multiple teams to deal with. You know, we saw Anti on it yesterday, how strong Anti did on the side of
Hans and Kelly getting put into the mix. Ash Ketchum has sent out the Pokeball, and Akali has appeared. But the Leona is really interesting, obviously, with her ultimate, with Zenith Blade as well, and obviously the CC from her abilities, and Shield is going to be huge. Leona is one of these like unsung supports, but when she does come out and she's played very well, we've seen Hestis on the Leona a few times. It's a great pick. Like, not many people go for the Leona in competitive, or at least within the group stages. I've rarely seen Leona come out other than Hestes picking the Leona. But every time he does, it's definitely a great pick for WLG. And then in terms of the bans, we've seen Evelyn come through again. They're committed to the Evelyn ban and the jungle carry picks. WLG banning out the Shen as well. So clearly the Shen wasn't quite up to scratch. We saw some great ults come through from the Shen, and the Alistair ban once again on the support lane.
Not really too sure why Ladino are banning away junglers here, because I'm assuming that this Aatrox is probably going to be in jungle, right? Wouldn't you think so?
I would assume so, yeah. I mean, it's a big flex pick. It's obviously it's been locked in by Ladino for the past 2 games, pretty much first pick. So I would assume, but we have a little bit of a cheeky Riven hover here. I mean, if you want to get me hot and bothered, pick Riven, but it's only a Saturday night.
Very, very interesting.
We have a chat saying Leona is underrated IMO. Oh, okay.
Wukong here, probably Baron lane.
Yeah. We don't see much Wukong jungle anymore. We saw Wukong Baron lane yesterday, so and from what I recall, it went pretty well. So I think, was it Government that played it? Or did Baguette play it?
No, I think it was Government. It must have been Government, maybe. I'm not too sure. But hey, if there's ever a champion that you need to know that Patterson plays, it's Wukong. I think this guy played Wukong in every single competitive game pretty much ever, like a year ago or something like that. Like, he played Wukong every single matchup. You would just know that every single time you load into draft, Patterson is picking Wukong, and he's going to be turning back to it here to try and get to the win here and try and get to 2-1 lead.
The Vuki Kong, and then the Galio comes out. I mean, Galio has been played pretty much every round this game, switching hands from one to right, left, back into the hands of Ladno, and we're getting the Vi pick come through. Vi is I mean, that was one of the junglers that really upset with the government series yesterday. So picked Aatrox for 2 times in a row. Didn't quite do what they needed it to do. And then the Vi came through. And then we saw the 2-1 come through. So maybe this is what Ladno need to make it into a 2-1 victory for them. The Aatrox, however, they obviously played it a little bit better in terms of the jungle compared to government yesterday, but really interested to see how this team plans out for them. The Baron lane last match really surprised me, especially going against Patterson. He's now taking Patterson's pick against him, but I'm pretty sure if you're so good at a champion, you kind of know how to play against him anyway. So Patterson on the Wukong, I probably wouldn't be sweating about anyway. But Vi in the jungle, Akali in the mid lane, Ezreal and Galio down in the bot lane. And then we have Corki in the mid lane for WLG. So Veos going on one of his popular picks.
Going to be interesting. We'll have to see how this game is going to shape up as we get into it. Corki was the last pick here for WLG. So double range carries here with the Corki and the Zeri. A lot of frontline damage as well. The problem is that they're very AD focused, WLG. They have pretty much no magic damage at all. There's a little bit of magic damage on Zeri, a little bit of magic damage on Corki, but it's very much very AD heavy here. So Play It Still Camp's probably going to be the name of the game here for Ladno, and we'll have to see how hand does on Akali, because if
second day so far.
Here we go, here we go, here we go.
Here we go, here we go, here we go.
Here we go, here we go, here we go. Here we go, here we go. Hey.
Bang, bang. Yes, here we go. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the Hans, Mr. Hans himself, performs on the Akali. Obviously, he had a blinder of a performance on the Akali yesterday, so I'm hoping that we'll see some really good outplays like we saw down. It was literally where I'm spectating right now, down in that duo lane where we saw the mist come through, the status come through, and then the outplay yesterday from the Akali. I think it was in the final match against 2 Jungle 0 Smite, and it was absolutely sensual and sexual. That it was just so memorable, such a memorable play. So I hope we get to see more of that from Hans today.
Gonna have a bit of a tricky time in the laning phase though, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Especially against this Corki range versus melee matchup. Never really favors Akali in the early stages of the game, but just gonna play safe, farm up for now. I just realized that I don't have directed cam on.
Oh, you silly Billy.
I was wondering why the camera was on Akali the whole time, and I was like, oh, I don't have directed cam on. I'm an idiot. Oh, bit of aggression here for Akali, and Veos with no mana. Does force out the exhaust as well for Veos, so needs to be a little bit more careful now.
I haven't even had to actually sync this game, and it's been the most synced game ever. So I feel like I've got magic fingers this time around, and hopefully it's going to bless one of these teams. But yeah, I mean, like we said, there's a bit of an aggression in the mid lane. The Baron lane, as usual, are just literally smacking each other with sticks right now. Wukong with his stick, Jax with his stick. Imagine if he had a real weapon. And then duo lane is just doing what duo lane do best, which is just duke it out for the CS. We're now seeing Hestes on his rotation arc in his character development, going back to the duo lane already.
Nothing too crazy happening. Bit of a slow start here. No real pressures. The duo lanes. Excuse me. The duo lane staying down in the duo lane. Support's not really roaming too much.
Oh, Aatrox
Nothing
going in.
too crazy happening.
Going in onto the Via, the top half of the map. What's going on there? No, it's a bit of a slow burner. But to be fair, they're neck and neck in victories, so I don't feel like WLG is going into this with as much confidence as they would do if they were going into it as a 2-0. And obviously, Ladno kind of want to be the first team to be the 2-1 against WLG, because that would be a huge mental boom for Ladno in a good way, and WLG would be having to do everything to try and bring that back to a full 3-2, which I'd be buzzing about because we love a good full best of 5 when it's teams at this level. Wukong going under the turret there is playing a little bit dangerous, so Patterson doing Patterson things. He does escape, however, but we could see that the Galio, no, sorry, might get caught out here. There we go. Vi gets taken down. Galio survives, however, but it is first blood to WLG. They have found their footing. They have upped the ante, and they're in the enemy jungle.
My God, that was absolutely disgusting engage here.
Oh, Zeri, close.
Very, very close. But yeah, going back to the other play, Heste, insane ultimate there on the Leona, locking down both the Orianna and the Akali in the back line. Just allowed the follow-up there from Patterson and also Aatrox. So really, really nice play there. Again, WLG playing with confidence still, even though they lost the previous game. They're still playing with confidence. They're still playing very, very aggressive. And they're going to be happy with the start so far.
Absolutely. First blood is everything you want to hear when you're playing this game. First blood. You don't want to be seeing it on your against your team, but you want to be on your team at all points in the match. The jungle objectives are up in 39 seconds. Will we see Ladno have much more of the presence as they did in the second match rather than the first match, where they got the dragon but didn't get the Rifty? I think the Rifty is just such a great pickup as the first jungle objective, especially when it's the likes of a Mountain Drake. It's not the worst dragon to go for first and try and get the Dragon Soul, but it's definitely not the best.
$10 seconds until the objectives come online.
Yes,
Most of the players going back to base right now, trying to pick up their items that they can pick up just to quickly get some extra little power spikes before the major objectives. Andra Zed at the moment looking towards that Rift Herald, and Ladno looking towards the Dragon. So looks like we could just get a contest in terms of objectives. Saying that, Leona went for engage down into the bot side. They're going into for a fight, and they're actually winning the fight.
Yep, so Leona took out the Vi. Han is already down on the Akali. WLG had the vision before even Ladno got in there. They had vision at the back of the dragon. They had vision in front of the dragon. So Andreza was like, you know what? I can go for this Rift Herald because nobody on blue side is going to be near me. And he's taken a few turret platings on the Baron turret. Not going to drop the Rift Herald because it would be a bit of a waste here now, knowing it's the last legs of the turret. But that was a really good split there for WLG, getting 100% of that jungle wave clear in the first round, and they still have Rift Herald to drop, which is potentially going to go down in that mid lane. They just need to give it a few slap tickles before dropping Shelly to secure the second turret of the game. But well played to WLG there.
Domination really for WLG there. Look at that. It gives them a 5,000 gold lead. They were able to take pretty much the first tower of the game up in the Baron lane. They don't really have anything here. Ladno to be able to engage. They're trying to look for engage here, but I'm not too sure if it's going to be enough. Veos uses that Valkyrie to get away, and he's going to get away to safety. And it's Ezreal on the other side that's in trouble. Patterson swings around, gets one kill. Jax is looking for Veos, but can't find him. I think it was the exhaust, or it wasn't even exhaust in the end. It's just Jax didn't have the damage in the end, and this is the WLG that we were expecting. 8-0 in kills. Hans trying his best to get one kill, but he can't find it. 2 towers to WLG. Rift Herald over to WLG. A 4-0, 9-0 in kills. A 10,000 gold lead at 7 minutes in this game.
That was huge. I mean, Hans was just a little bit too slow on his fingers. Ignite is still off cooldown. If he did it onto the Aatrox, I feel like they would have got their first kill, but he was just a little bit too slow, slapping that Ignite down onto the Aatrox. But yes, WLG, in true WLG fashion, go in 9-0, 2 turrets up, and 8k pre-10 minutes. Hello? Where was this team 2 games ago? Well, at least last game, the first game they won, but it was definitely not this aggressive. Yes, they had a ploddy first match, but now they have definitely just slap into the beat. They are definitely on the pulse with this match, and I think Ladno know it. Ladno know it. This team comp for WLG is pretty huge.
What happens when you give Andre a carry jungler like an Aatrox? You don't give him someone like a Shen, you know, champion that he can make plays with, a champion that he can roam around the map and just deal so much damage. And that's exactly what he's doing up in the Baron lane. For some reason, my directed cam focuses more towards the turret than the actual gauge up in the Baron lane, but it does look like no one is going to get any kills here up in the Baron lane. Andre is just going to drop low on health and there's no kills at all. But meanwhile, Patterson is just chilling down in the duo lane, taking a tower away for his team.
Yep, so 3 turrets up for WLG. There was quite a bit of a dance off there in the river between both of the teams, but nobody actually going down as a victim of the dance-off between WLG and Ladno. But as we saw, that Patterson always just leaving Patterson in the corner to do what he does best, which is to split push these lanes. And on the Wukong, he's doing very well. And Drezen gets another kill onto the Hans there. Vi is on the escape. We have Ezreal coming around as well. They're praying for the death of the Rockstar. He doesn't fall down. We see the Corky's rocket does whiff him, however. Can he get one onto him? Veos is just ever so close. He gets a rocket onto the Ezreal, but doesn't land it on Vi. And Vi escapes as well.
Both survive on 1 HP, but the damage coming in now for this Aatrox is out of this world. And WLG are just in full motion here to win this third game. Over a 10,000 goal lead now. Look at them. They're just playing with fire. They're going to look to jump over the wall here, go straight onto the Jax. The Leona ulti misses, but it doesn't matter at all. The Aatrox damage comes in the end. Andre Zed 5-0-3 on this Aatrox. Slowly but surely cracking away at the base here of Ladno. And this is where the priority comes in for this Aatrox. And Ladno, they wanted to get the comfort there for the Akali in the mid lane, because Hannah's made, you know, had a great performance on Akali in the last two games and in the last series. This one, Aatrox is really the difference maker here. It's not the Akali, it's that Aatrox in the jungle.
Definitely. I think it's all aided by the Leona. We saw some really good setups from the Leona, a very much early game this time around. But it's just the confidence of WLG. But like, you know what? Let them pick the Akali and we can show you what we can do. We've got the Aatrox, we've got the Playmaker playstyle with Andre Zed on the Aatrox, getting the second dragon of the match as well. So there has just been no contest in the jungle whatsoever. Still no first kill for WLG. But just look at the difference in every lane. There is just no gains on the side of WLG. It's just completely out of their control. The only close lane I would say is probably the mid lane, just by a few, actually no, 1,100 gold. But even a lane alone, that is just a huge way to get ahead. And 11 minutes at the inhibitor, it's just been such a different tempo of a match for WLG this time around.
Looks like Ladno want one more fight here. The Zeri's gonna get a lot of damage into the backline, and they are just dropping like flies. Ladno, they cannot get a single kill. Han is trying his best, and it's a triple kill for the Zeri, and it might just be GG's. Well played to WLG here. Andre tries to flash in. There is the Nexus shield on there, but I don't think the Nexus shield is gonna do enough at all. 11 minutes and 42 seconds. That is a statement and a half. And if that's not a statement and a half, then I don't know what is. WLG come back in flying fashion.
Absolutely. Not a single death on the side of WLG. But like I was saying before, the confidence of WLG going into that
today, if I'm not mistaken, I think, I can't remember if it was, and I remember we saw at least one Yone yesterday. I think it was from Han. So maybe one of his picks that he feels comfortable with, especially in this kind of assassin versus assassin or bruiser versus bruiser matchup here, in terms of the mid lane with Yone versus Akali. But we'll have to see how that one goes. In terms of bans here, we're looking at dual lane bans on the side of WLG, with Ziggs being taken away. Maybe someone like an Orianna or a Karma could also be taken away. in Baron lane bans here for Aladinon.
Yeah, WLG don't have their ADC or APC yet, and they definitely don't have their Baron lane unless we see Patterson switch around and go for the Akali, which I highly doubt, but we can't swap that out. We can't definitely underline that one, but the Ori ban does definitely come through there. I think Hans on the Orianna in that second game of the series was a huge first game, however, was a little bit lackluster. And then we had the Akali, which was a promising pick from yesterday, but didn't quite follow through the way it was meant to. But the Jax ban and the Lee Sin ban come through. Not too sure why they're banning at the jungles there, unless they're anticipating Patterson to go for the Aatrox. And the Xayah comes through for the ADC, so keeping it uniform with the top two picks for the group stages, sorry, which is Xayah and the Zeri. So still a huge pick here for WLG.
Yeah, I think Xayah is really, really good against this composition. You know, you got Hecarim running towards you, Yone as well, and Xayah is one of them carries that doesn't really care too much about, you know, champions running towards you, because that's exactly what Xayah wants, so she can put out as much feathers as possible. Karma is going to be the pickup. I did say either Orianna or Karma. Orianna got banned, so Karma is the next choice here. In terms of the dual lane, they do need a little bit of AP damage, and now they're looking for the Baron lane. Big thing is that they don't know who they're coming up against. So someone like a Garen, very easy, or Ornn as well. Also, Ornn is very good blind pick up in the Baron lane. Doesn't really matter who you come up against. Very, very easy just to scale and just tank up a lot of damage.
Absolutely, and as long as you pick the Grasp of the Undying, because you're not in the support lane.
Also that as well. Oh, set.
Yeah. Okay. A little bit of an upset there with a set potentially coming through in the Baron lane. But yeah, with the Ornn and the Hecarim as well, I feel like we could see some huge synergy between the knockup of the Ornn, Hecarim having a big presence up in the Baron lane as well. He obviously has huge gank potentials up in the Baron lane. Karma coming through. We saw Carrot Cop on the Karma do some massive outplays yesterday, and obviously some really good kills in terms of a APC on the Karma, and the Gragas comes through. I think both of these comps are pretty solid. The Aatrox and the set, I believe, are going to switch around very soon. I don't think we're going to get set in the jungle, please. No.
Unless they're in the wrong order. It could also be that as well. Maybe they're in the wrong order or something.
A government syndrome.
Yeah, maybe they're in the wrong order. I'll have to wait and see. But I think the big thing with WLG's composition here is that they do have a lot of disengage for this Hecarim, which is such a big thing, because Hecarim is a champion, just wants to run around and be a big, massive nuisance. But Hecarim is, you know, with the likes of like the set, for example, he can use his ultimate to, you know, basically knock Hecarim away from his team. Xayah is really good for disengage. Leona as well with her crowd control. So it's very, very nice. But yeah, they were in the wrong order. There you go.
The silly billies, absolute silly billies. We'll get that back. My favorite teams throughout the entire of Rift Legends, just being able to watch them in the group stages and in the playoffs is definitely a joy of being a cast.
Why is my... Oh, I thought my director cam wasn't working for a second, but it's fine. We are saved. It's all good.
Oh, I need to sync myself. I'm about like 6 seconds behind.
How can you be 6 seconds behind? Bloody hell, mate.
Bloody hell, Gov.
Come on, lads.
That bottle of water took it out of me. Right. Yeah, I'll say it's pretty even, to be fair.
You gotta sync yourself up.
Sync yourself.
Yeah, interesting matchup
I feel
here.
like... Yeah, I feel like this match is going to start a lot the same as the last match we just saw, where it was a bit floody to begin with, and then we just saw WLG just find their footing within the match. They got their two-step on. They had their Kevin Bacon in footloose moment and just let loose for the rest of the match, not losing a single death in the last game of the last match we just witnessed. But this could potentially be the last match in the series if we see another performance like WLG from the previous match.
And last match was completely dominant by WLG. All they have to do is just make the same plays, play the same play style. Might be a little bit more difficult though this time. I have to see how things go.
Those got something up their sleeves. But then again, I'm pretty sure WLG's got something up their sleeves, letting that Hecarim come through as well. They've definitely got something planned. They clearly know what Ladno's thinking before they even know what they thunk.
Thinking thunk?
Thinking and thunk, yeah.
Is thunk even a word?
To think is present tense, to thunk is past tense. Oh, Hecarim then goes over, exhausts his was that a flash or a sprint? A sprint, and doesn't quite manage to grasp the set there.
Thunk even a word?
It's not a word, it's a blam word.
Oh, okay. So, oh, you got your own dictionary now. Ah, I see.
Yeah, I've got the Oxford Dictionary Blam edition.
When can I start reading that?
It gets released in 2024. It's going to be a great filler between the EU esports scene of Wild Rift. I plan for it to last quite a while, so those that read at different rates than each other can definitely get their Blam knowledge, and it'll be launching on Duolingo sometime for next year.
Duolingo.
It's a language to behold all on its own.
And language that will be the difference between you winning and losing solo queue games.
Absolutely. You won't get you can't get cancelled in-game chat because Riot can't pick up on it. So Riot, if you're watching, we can talk, we can negotiate, and I can put a little bit of disclaimer saying that that's no longer the case if you come to anything. Anyway, Hecarim and Yone looking to do bits there, but nothing is then overseen. The Beos and the Undrezed managed to get out alive. Patterson doing what he loves to do. I've noticed this in the past, like so many games. He loves to exhaust the enemy's Spirit Bloom just because he can. He's like, well, way he's pushed, I'm going to exhaust your Spirit Bloom so you can't see any of my vision. Which is obviously a great play, to be honest. It's not going to be a means or ends of victory, but Gragas with the big casket there. Akali getting taken out, so first blood goes to Ladno there, but it goes to the Gragas, so it could have been distributed a little bit better there in terms of that kill, but we won't complain. First blood is the name of the game.
Kills the kill at the end of the game. That's exactly what Ladno wanted. Really nice follow-up there. Hecarim being at the right place at the right time is really good here for Ladno, trying to get the Hecarim ahead. I mean, Hecarim's still going to be ahead even with just an assist, but you can see here that WLG go for the same play every single game, but next time it's gonna be punished. Maybe really nice engage though from Heste, but there's a huge amount of AoE damage, and Ladno are gonna flash over the wall, follow up, and it's a triple kill for the Ornn. And Ladno predicted WLG like a book. They've made the same play in every single game, and Ladno read it this time with everyone being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I was a bit sketchy there seeing Veos come over the wall. I was like, oh man, I was hoping for a Ladno stomp, and then kind of saw Veos come over the wall with the Akali, and then I was like, oh no. And then I saw the Ornn ult come through. I was like, ah, yes. And then Ladno gets a triple kill on the Ornn. So that's going to put Ornn in that Baron lane a steady advantage of 500 gold, which isn't huge, but at this point in the game is definitely something that you'd rather be 500 ahead of gold rather than 500 behind. It looks like Ladno are actually going to commit to trying to get the Shelly here, place it down in that mid lane because it's already damaged, and hopefully take the mid lane turret. However, they do get a kill on the side of the WLG as they try and stop the Dragon takedown. So Yone falls on the side of Ladno this time around.
Interesting. They're not deciding to drop the mid lane Herald just yet here for Ladno. They're kind of waiting and seeing how things are going to work out, but yeah, they are going to drop it eventually. It's not actually going to die off this charge, this first Herald. It should, oh no, it does actually. Okay, 2,300 damage is the key then, but Zaya with the damage in the end is going to do enough to do a whole bunch of damage, but the re-engage is there with the Ornn. Oh, but Patterson, he's like, Hecarim, you ain't getting away too easily. Flashing, uses the ultimate to knock him back into the team, and Andre, he wants more bloods.
Yep, set absolutely stopping the motion of the Hecarim there, and really stopping the motion of anything being capitalized there on Ladno, we see Yone trying to do bits, but Andrezed catches him back at his spawn of his body. Gragas is still alive, trying to take out the Akali. There's been a lot of attempts there, and then Karma comes through and claims the Akali for her own. So not the biggest waste of time that mid lane bash-up was there, but for WLG, they managed to neutralize their kill lead there. So 6-6 is now the name of the game. It is even Stevens in terms of the kills, but Ladno, however, do get a turret at the end of that, but WLG, however, are ahead of the gold.
Back on here, just waiting for the Scuttlecraft to come back. Yeah. Oh, Yone engaged in the bot lane. Patterson's going to try and do a lot of damage.
Oh.
Shield comes in as well. This is the thing when trying to gank a set. You have to be careful of the true damage and of the shielding as well that Set has in his kit. Can really look to bait out players. Wasn't expecting to see a Set this game, especially because I haven't seen Patterson play Set for a long time. He's probably played it a bunch in solo queue, but pretty much it, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, Set, you rarely see come out in the Baron lane. I mean, there was one point where we've seen Set support within competitive, which was a little bit crazy, but it worked a little bit. At the same time, it was just generally a throwaway pick. But yeah, Set in the Baron lane is generally even played one or two ways. So in terms of denying the team fights going completely one-sided, he can split apart and take down these damage dealers. Leona there was waiting in the bush, kind of preempting the gank onto the turret from Hecarim. Leona pretty low here. The status does save her, however, for now. And there is no turret takedown from Ladno because of that preemption of Leona. And Hestes played that very well.
Yeah. I mean, as you had mentioned, you know, Set can be, you know, one of two. He can either be the main engage or the main disengage of the team. So we'll have to see what shoes he's going to fill. But members of WLG here are completely caught out. Ooh. Overextension here in the bot lane. But maybe Andre can look to come and clean house. Dodges away from the Ornn ultimate, but I'm not too sure if the damage is there at the moment for Andre. Patterson is also here as well, but this is a 3 versus 5. This is so difficult, but Patterson has the ultimate back up and is going to deal enough damage to kill 2 members. Andre is going to die in the end, so I believe it's a 2 for 3 trade for Ladno overall. What a crazy exchange there in the bot lane for Ladno. Really getting an advantage here, but again, as you mentioned before, you know, WLG, even though Ladno are getting these small advantages, are still behind in gold.
Yeah, ever so slightly, and that's the one thing I admire about WLG is that they don't forget. Like, farming just seems to be an automated response to them. Like, they just don't think about farming, they're just doing it. They are not wasting any CS. They manage to claim every minion that they possibly can, because not one minion spawns once again. Every minion is an individual. You only kill that minion once in the game, so make the most of it. And WLG definitely make the most of these minion takedowns, which is definitely giving them the lead in gold. Even though it's very slight, it's still a lead in gold nonetheless. But the dragon is up now, alive. It is Mountain Drake. Will we see a second dragon go over to WLG, or will we see a big contest here from Ladno? So far, the team fights have been pretty much in the favor of Ladno. However, when Set gets involved, it really does upset the balance on the side of Ladno. However, they generally just fall apart or crumble when Set comes through and try to re-engage after Set's ults come through, and he has been on the cooldown. He has been put in the naughty corner with throwing people around.
Have to be careful here though for WLG, because Veos is very, very low on health. They might even just try and take the mid lane tower. No one is here to defend Mumu, so getting the mid lane tower is really, really good. Han is trying his best to engage, and he's going to be doing a lot of damage here. The Ornn ultimate as well with the knockup, but Veos stays alive somehow, some way. Everyone on WLG is still alive. Heste even flashes over the wall. He survives as well, and WLG gets a 3-4-0. It was just very, very split there for Ladno, and they weren't able to find the members that they wanted to and the kills that they wanted. They might even try and find more kills in the bot lane. They won't. 3-0 for WLG, and the dragon, 2 towers as well. WLG are now finally in full control.
Absolutely, they have found the swing in their waltz. They have completely played that very well. I feel like if Hecarim just managed to close that ult a little bit further onto the Aatrox and the Akali, we could have seen a different outcome in that. But Andre said may get caught out here is definitely trying to escape the speedster that is Hecarim. But Gragas is here as well with his barrels, with his big guts to do the CC. All coming in with a knock-up, so potential. Karma getting the kill onto the Aatrox there, so well played by Karma. So Andrezed is down, which is a big playmaker for WLG going into these team fights. So now they've just got to play this nicely, try and get a few turrets, get some of that gold bounty. Everyone loves bounties.
I wonder if they could have maybe gone for the Baron there, but I don't think they feel confident enough, especially with Yone down in the bot side. But with Andre going down, it does slow WLG's pressure down a little bit. As you said, the bounty gold going over to Ladno here with the bot lane tower. They are still quite behind in gold. So to be fair, I don't know how they have an objective bounty when they're only 2,000 gold behind. How does that make any sense? That makes no sense.
Completely, the game feels sorry for Ladno in terms of the gold diff right now. But yeah, it's really weird. It's like the team fights start huge for Ladno, and then all of a sudden something just flicks over, the tides turn very quickly, and then WLG are just back on top again when Veos just comes in, because Veos is always a little bit just behind in terms of these team fights, allowing Leona, Aatrox, and Set to take the brunt of most abilities. And then once the Veos comes through with the Akali and then Mumu on the Xayah, it's pretty much just a hunter's game. They're just looking to take a few skulls within the team fights, and that just seems to be how it's playing out. But WLG, the Yone just can't catch up on the Xayah or the Akali, so it completely just renders Yone a bit useless within these team fights. He kind of exhausts all his abilities very much early. Andreas pretty much behind the whole thing. I give Yone a bit chip. He does get the Xayah now, so completely proving me wrong there. Yone, Hans is getting the Xayah takedown, but then Set takes down the Hecarim, and we've got bits going on behind enemy lines there. So Andreza tries his best. Hans gets a second kill within the team fight. Flash there with the Gragas doing the CC onto the Set, but there comes the grits from Set. He is still in the mix with his shield. He's trying to hold on. He goes down as well, so Hans has just activated, and he's gone hard on WLG, leaving only Leona alive. This could be a confirmed Baron for WLG, however.
SA looking to flash in, try and get a few kills. All the teleports come in as well. The ultimate from Leona, and maybe Mumu could look to clean house here. Mumu's very low on health though. There's another TP coming in, but hand on this Yone is completely unstoppable at the moment, doing an incredible amount of damage. Another TP now comes in for Ladno. That's the Hecarim coming in, but WLG clean up the fight, and maybe they just, they couldn't kill the Karma in the end. They couldn't find the Karma. But WLG do the most important thing, and they stop the Baron take. That was extremely close.
Just how Veos bounced from one champion to the other was just like I was watching some sort of like Kung Fu film. It was just amazingly executed there. Like anybody else would have been very sloppy on that Akali double kill, but that was just huge. He just killed one player. There was just like, yo, I'm back flipping over this wall. Take that down. Awesome. Couldn't quite find the Karma. Hecarim managed to gain his safety. We're back within the Nexus, but nobody managed to take the Baron either. But just looking at the gold, still behind is Ladno, but it's still it's minute. It's just 2k gold. They can make this up if they just have another amazing team fight. If Hans just has his way with that Xayah once again, but it's just it's a drop. It's a flip of a coin with Ladno, it seems, with these team fights.
All eyes are on Han. He's already made an incredible amount of plays. Caught out Mumu multiple amount of times, and you can see at the moment that everyone on Ladno are just grouping up together. Andre said and Veos are split from the team. They are very split at the moment in terms of fight, and they might just try and turn and try and kill Andre here. The flash even comes in as well, but look at the movement speed from the Aatrox, but I'm not too sure if he's going to be able to stay alive. Oh my god, the one-shot damage there from the Aatrox. He kills 2. Can he kill 3? He doesn't kill 3, but the rest of the team is going to clean up. It's going to be a double kill for Mumu, a triple kill for Aatrox, and that could be GG's right there for WLG. Ladno tries tried to take advantage of that split team fight there for WLG, but Veos was just way too slippery and Andre was way too fast, insane amount of damage, and this could be game over.
Yeah, it's looking like game over. The chat did predict it very much early on. It's a 3-1 victory for WLG, taking the Nexus and taking their final spot for tomorrow for the first place matchup against whoever wins this next best of 5. But this one has definitely not disappointed. Ladno in the second game doing something that most teams could not do, is taking a round off WLG. The Hecarim, however, I feel was understated there. There was just no kills for Hecarim. In terms of the goal difference between the jungles as well was just a night and day. So 4K goal difference. MVP for the jungler on the side of WLG, and then MVP for SVP, sorry, for Hans. I feel like Hans only really deserved that going into that mid to late game.